The day had been long, and the sunset was a welcome sight, painting the sky in a mesmerizing dance of orange and pink hues. I stood by the window, a cup of chamomile tea cradled in my hands, my gaze fixed on the empty space on the porch where my packages should have been. It was the third time this month that my deliveries had vanished without a trace. At first, I had thought them misplaced or perhaps wrongly delivered, but as the pattern emerged, frustration simmered within me. I, Ellen, a retired high school English teacher with a penchant for gardening and mysteries, found myself ensnared in a real-life puzzle. I took a sip of my tea, the warmth doing little to soothe the growing irritation. "This is just unacceptable," I muttered to myself, setting the cup down with more force than necessary. Picking up the phone, I dialed my daughter, Anna, who had not only inherited my curly hair but also my stubborn streak and a keen sense for solving problems. "Hey, Mom, what's up?" she answered, her voice a soothing balm to my frayed nerves. "Anna, dear, it's happening again. Another package has gone missing. That's the third one this month." My voice was tinged with the helplessness I felt. There was a pause, and then Anna's voice came, laced with determination. "Mom, this has got to stop. Have you talked to the neighbors? Maybe someone saw something." "I've asked around. No one seems to know anything, or if they do, they're not saying. It's like these packages have just vanished into thin air." Anna sighed. "Well, we can't just let this go on. I know just the thing to catch this thief. How about we set a trap?" I chuckled, despite the situation. "A trap? What are we, setting up for a cartoon caper?" "Not exactly, Mom. Trust me, I've got an idea. I'll send something over tomorrow. Let's see if our porch pirate can resist it." The next day, true to her word, a package arrived. Not just any package, but a deceivingly ordinary brown box, sealed perfectly, sitting innocuously on my porch. Anna called shortly after the delivery confirmation pinged on my phone. "Okay, Mom, it's there. Now, all we have to do is wait." "Anna, what on earth did you send?" I asked, curiosity getting the better of me as I eyed the box through the window. "Let's just say it's a surprise. For both you and our uninvited guest. Oh, and make sure you're watching when it gets picked up. You won't want to miss this." I placed the box outside, positioning it just so, making it appear as tempting as possible. Then, with nothing left to do but wait, I resumed my vigil by the window, the hours ticking by slowly. As twilight approached, the serene evening was suddenly pierced by a scream, a sound so unexpected and chilling that it sent shivers down my spine. It came from the direction of Mr. Jenkins' house, my next-door neighbor known for his cantankerous nature and persistent complaints about my roses encroaching on his lawn. Heart racing, I rushed over, fear and concern battling for dominance. What I found was a scene straight out of a slapstick comedy, if not for the very real shock and dismay on Mr. Jenkins' face. There, amidst a cloud of glitter, stood Mr. Jenkins, the box open at his feet, a look of utter bewilderment on his face. As the realization dawned on me, I couldn't help but let out a chuckle, despite the gravity of the situation. Our mystery had been solved, albeit in a manner most unexpected. The morning after my conversation with Anna, the air felt charged with anticipation. I rose with the sun, a habit from years of needing to be ahead of the school day's demands, but today my focus was not on lesson plans or grading papers. Today, it was on the package that was due to arrive, a package that, unbeknownst to our neighborhood thief, was a decoy designed to catch them in the act. Anna called just as I was pouring my second cup of coffee. "It's on its way, Mom. Remember, no matter how curious you are, do not open that box," she reminded me, a note of excitement in her voice that was contagious. "I promise, I won't touch it." "But what exactly did you put inside?" I couldn't keep the curiosity out of my voice. Anna was always full of surprises, and her schemes, though unconventional, often yielded results. Let's just say it's a little surprise for our thief. A sort of glitter bomb, if you will. Plus, a few extra touches to make sure they think twice before stealing another package. "A glitter bomb?" I repeated, both amused and impressed. Anna, where do you come up with these ideas? Let's just say I've done my research. Trust me, it'll be harmless, but memorable. Oh, and make sure you have your phone handy. You're going to want to record this. The anticipation was almost too much to bear. I positioned the chair by the window, from where I had a clear view of the porch, and waited. The package arrived mid-morning, delivered by an unsuspecting courier who had no idea he was part of our sting operation. I placed the box exactly where all the others had gone missing, in the most tempting spot possible. The day dragged on, each hour stretching longer than the last. I busied myself with gardening, reading, and even attempted to start a new knitting project, but my attention was always partially on the window, on the lookout for any sign of activity. As the afternoon waned into evening, I began to worry that our plan would not bear fruit. Maybe the thief isn't biting today, I thought, trying to tamp down the disappointment. Just as I was about to give up hope, a shadowy figure approached the porch. My heart leaped into my throat. Grabbing my phone, I began to record, my hands trembling with adrenaline. The figure looked around furtively before reaching for the package. Gotcha, I whispered to myself, a triumphant smile spreading across my face. But the real show was yet to begin. No sooner had the thief lifted the box than an ear-piercing alarm blared from within, followed by an explosion of glitter that seemed to envelop everything in a shimmering cloud. The thief staggered back, cursing loudly, desperately trying to silence the alarm and rid himself of the glitter that now clung to every surface. I couldn't help but burst into laughter, the tension of the past weeks releasing in a cathartic rush. Through the chaos, I managed to keep the camera steady, capturing every moment of the thief's glittery downfall. When the commotion finally subsided, and the thief had made a hasty retreat, I called Anna. It worked! I exclaimed, still giddy with laughter. You should have seen it. It was perfect. I can't wait to see the video. Mom, you're a genius for going along with this. I hope this teaches our porch pirate a lesson they won't soon forget. As I ended the call, I realized that while we had set the trap for the thief, what we had really captured was a moment of sheer, unbridled joy. The day might not have gone as I had originally planned, but it was certainly one for the books. The aftermath of the glitter bomb was more spectacular than I could have ever imagined. The porch was a sparkling mess, and the thief had vanished as quickly as he had appeared, leaving behind only the shimmering evidence of his folly. My heart was still racing from the excitement and the satisfaction of our plan coming to fruition when the scream pierced the calm of the evening. It was a sound so jarring, so filled with shock and dismay, that for a moment, I forgot about the glitter and the stolen packages. It came from the direction of Mr. Jenkins' house, my neighbor who was as known for his prickly demeanor as his meticulous lawn. With a mixture of concern and curiosity, I made my way next door, the phone still in my hand with the evidence of the foiled theft. As I approached Mr. Jenkins' house, I could hear him muttering to himself, his voice laced with confusion and irritation. The front door was ajar, an invitation propelled by his vocal distress. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of my welcome, but the concern for my often grumpy neighbor overrode my hesitation. Mr. Jenkins? I called out as I stepped into the foyer, my eyes adjusting to the dim light inside. Are you all right? I heard a scream. In the living room, I found him, a figure of utter defeat amidst a cloud of glitter that seemed to cover every surface. The box lay open at his feet, the spring-loaded trap having done its job spectacularly. Mr. Jenkins, usually so composed and stern, looked up at me with wide eyes, his usual demeanor shattered by the unexpected chaos. Ellen, he stammered, his voice a mix of embarrassment and disbelief. I thought it was. I didn't know. I struggled to maintain a composed facade, the corners of my mouth twitching in a battle against the laughter threatening to break free. Mr. Jenkins, were you expecting a package? He cleared his throat, attempting to salvage some semblance of dignity. I saw the box on your porch. I thought it was those gardening supplies I ordered. They've been missing, you see. I didn't mean to. His words trailed off as the absurdity of the situation became undeniable. We stood in silence, the tension broken only by the occasional glitter cascading from his hair with every slight movement. "Mr. Jenkins," I started, my tone softer now, "the neighborhood's had a problem with missing deliveries. I set that box out as a trap, not for you, but for whoever's been taking the packages." A flicker of realization crossed his face, followed by a flush of shame. "I see," he mumbled, looking away. "I suppose I owe you an apology, Ellen." I jumped to conclusions and, well, this is quite the mess, isn't it? I nodded, the laughter finally escaping in a gentle huff. "Yes, but it's nothing that can't be cleaned up. And maybe this will put an end to our missing package problem." He looked at me then, really looked, and for the first time, I saw a hint of gratitude in his eyes. "Ellen, No need, Mr. Jenkins. Let's just say we're even. Your complaints about my roses and my glitter trap. But let's agree to keep a closer eye out for each other's deliveries from now on." A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth, a rare sight that I cherished. "Agreed. And Ellen, perhaps I've been too harsh about your garden. It does bring a bit of color to the neighborhood." As I left Mr. Jenkins to his glittery predicament, I couldn't help but feel a sense of community that had been missing before. It was an odd way to come to an understanding with my neighbor, but as I walked back to my house, I realized that sometimes, it's the unexpected moments that bring us together. The glitter bomb had not only caught a thief, but had also opened the door to a new chapter with Mr. Jenkins, one where mutual respect and maybe even a fledgling friendship could bloom amidst the chaos. The evening had settled into a quiet calm after the unexpected commotion next door. Mr. Jenkins and I had reached an unspoken truce, the glitter incident serving as a bizarre but effective icebreaker. As I returned to my house, the remnants of laughter still echoing in my heart, I couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. The thief had been caught, albeit in the most unexpected manner, and the neighborhood felt a little safer, a little more united. Sitting on my porch, the gentle hum of the evening bringing a serene end to the day, I replayed the events. The moment of revelation, Mr. Jenkins' shock, and the subsequent understanding that blossomed between us. It was justice, not in the traditional sense, but in a way that felt profoundly satisfying. The phone rang, pulling me from my reverie. It was Anna. "So, Mom, how did it go? Did our plan work?" Her voice was eager, anticipating the story that awaited. "You wouldn't believe it if I told you," I started, my voice bubbling with excitement. "The thief, it was Mr. Jenkins." There was a moment of stunned silence on the other end. "Mr. Jenkins? Our Mr. Jenkins? The one who complains about everything under the sun?" "Yes, that very one. But before you jump to conclusions, it was a misunderstanding. He thought the package was his. Can you imagine? Caught in a glitter bomb meant for a porch pirate." Anna's laughter rang through the phone, clear and joyous. "Oh, Mom, that's priceless." I wish I could have seen his face. It was a sight to behold, I admitted, the memory bringing another chuckle. "But you know, Anna, it turned out to be a good thing. We talked, really talked, and I think we understand each other a bit better now." "That's great, Mom. But, how did Mr. Jenkins handle the glitter situation?" "Let's just say he'll be finding glitter in his house for months to come." But he took it in stride. He even apologized for taking the package, though it was a mistake. And he said something nice about my garden for the first time ever. Anna's voice softened, a mix of pride and affection in her words. "You handled that beautifully, Mom. Not just catching the thief, but turning a potentially nasty situation into something positive." The conversation shifted then, to plans and small updates, the comfortable chatter between mother and daughter weaving a warm end to the evening. As we said our goodnights, I felt a wave of gratitude for Anna, for her ingenious plan, and for the unexpected outcome that had brought a semblance of peace to our neighborhood. The next day dawned bright and clear, a fresh start. As I watered my garden, I noticed Mr. Jenkins outside, eyeing the border where his lawn met my flower bed. I paused, waiting for the usual complaints, but instead, he offered a nod of acknowledgement, a silent gesture of our newfound understanding. It was a small victory, but a meaningful one. The neighborhood felt different now, more like a community than a collection of strangers living side by side. And as I watched the flowers sway gently in the morning breeze, I realized that sometimes, justice isn't just about righting wrongs. It's about finding common ground, understanding, and perhaps even friendship in the most unexpected places. The day's events had unfolded like the chapters of a book, each turn more surprising than the last. Now, as night wrapped the neighborhood in a velvet cloak, I found myself on my porch once again, a cup of herbal tea in hand, gazing up at the star-studded sky. The air was cool and fresh, carrying the scent of my blooming roses, a peaceful contrast to the day's earlier chaos. Anna had left not long ago, her presence a comforting reminder of the bond we shared. We had spent the evening recounting the day, our laughter mingling with the soft night sounds. Now, alone with my thoughts, I reflected on the unexpected lessons learned. "Quite the day, huh?" a voice called out, breaking the silence. I turned to see Mr. Jenkins, standing at the edge of his property, looking over at me. The glitter seemed to have found its way into his yard, a few sparkles catching the moonlight. "Indeed, it was," I replied, smiling warmly. "I didn't expect it to end with us chatting under the stars." Mr. Jenkins chuckled, a sound I wasn't sure I had heard before. "Nor did I, Ellen. I wanted to thank you. Not just for the, glitter, but for being understanding." I nodded, acknowledging his words. "We all make mistakes, Mr. Jenkins. It's what we learn from them that counts. Besides, our little mishap brought some much-needed laughter." He agreed, a twinkle of amusement in his eye. "Yes, it did. And, Ellen, I must admit, your garden is rather beautiful at night." The compliment, simple yet genuine, warmed my heart. "Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. That means a lot, coming from you." We shared a moment of comfortable silence, the boundaries between us softened by shared experiences and newfound respect. "Ellen," Mr. Jenkins began, hesitantly, "I was thinking. Perhaps I've been too set in my ways. Maybe it's time for a change. Could you teach me a bit about gardening?" The request took me by surprise, a delightful turn I hadn't anticipated. "I'd like that very much, Mr. Jenkins. I think you'll find gardening quite rewarding." His smile, though slight, was sincere. "I look forward to it. Good night, Ellen." "Good night, Mr. Jenkins." As he retreated to his house, I turned my gaze back to the stars, marveling at the day's unexpected outcomes. The glitter bomb, intended as a deterrent for a thief, had instead unearthed a treasure trove of understanding and camaraderie. I sipped my tea, the warmth comforting against the cool night air. The stars above seemed to twinkle with a bit more fervor, as if celebrating the small victories of humanity below. In the grand scheme of things, our neighborhood squabbles and misunderstandings were trivial. Yet, in resolving them, in finding common ground and laughter in adversity, there was a profound beauty, a reminder of the resilience and capacity for change within us all. The night deepened, and I lingered a while longer, lost in thought. The universe was vast, its mysteries unfathomable, but here, in my little corner of the world, I had found something just as infinite and unknowable: the human heart and its ability to forgive, to grow, and to connect in the most unexpected ways. As I finally rose to head inside, the night felt a little less dark, the future a bit brighter. The reflections under the stars had brought clarity and hope, a gentle nudge to remember that even the smallest acts of kindness and understanding can illuminate the darkest nights. The first light of dawn crept across the sky, painting it in soft hues of pink and gold. I had always been an early riser, but today, I woke with a sense of renewal, as if the events of the previous day had washed away old grievances and opened a door to new beginnings. The air was crisp, filled with the promise of a fresh start, and as I stepped onto my porch, I couldn't help but pause and breathe it in deeply. My garden, a riot of colors and scents, seemed to greet the new day with me. I had spent countless hours among these flowers, each one a testament to the patience and care that gardening demands. Today, they appeared even more vibrant, as if reflecting the shift in my own heart. As I began my morning routine of tending to the plants, I noticed movement at the edge of my vision. Looking up, I saw Mr. Jenkins, awkwardly holding a small shovel and a packet of seeds. He caught my eye and offered a tentative smile, a clear sign of his intention to take up my offer on learning about gardening. "Good morning, Ellen," he called out, crossing the small distance between our properties. "I hope I'm not too early. I thought I'd take you up on that offer, if the offer still stands." "Good morning, Mr. Jenkins," I replied, my heart warming at the sight. "You're just in time. I was about to start planting some new seedlings. I'd be happy to show you the ropes." He nodded, looking down at the packet in his hand. "I bought these. Not sure if they're the right kind, but I thought we could start here," he said, offering the packet to me. I took it, my smile broadening as I saw it was a packet of marigold seeds. Marigolds are perfect. They're hardy and great for beginners. They also keep pests away, a natural protector of the garden. Mr. Jenkins seemed pleased with that, his shoulders relaxing slightly. "Well then, lead the way, Ellen. I'm here to learn." And so we began, side by side, as I showed him how to prepare the soil, how to plant the seeds at the right depth, and how to water them without drowning the tender beginnings of what would become vibrant flowers. As we worked, I found myself sharing bits and pieces of gardening wisdom, the kind that comes not just from books but from years of hands-on experience and the failures that teach much more than success ever could. "You know, Mr. Jenkins, gardening is a lot like life. It requires patience, care, and a bit of faith. Sometimes, things don't turn out the way we plan, but there's always a new season, a chance to start over," I said, patting down the earth around a newly planted seedling. Mr. Jenkins paused in his work, considering my words. "I suppose I've been stuck in the winter of my ways for too long," he mused. "It's time for my own spring, I think." His admission struck a chord, a reminder of the transformative power of forgiveness and the willingness to embrace change. "We all have our seasons, Mr. Jenkins. What matters is what we choose to grow in them." As the morning progressed, we continued our work in companionable silence, broken only by the occasional question from Mr. Jenkins or a word of encouragement from me. By the time we finished, there was a small but promising patch of earth sown with seeds that, in time, would bloom into a beautiful testament to new beginnings. Standing back to admire our work, Mr. Jenkins looked genuinely proud, a sight I never imagined I'd see. "Thank you, Ellen. I have a feeling this is going to be more than just a garden for me." I nodded, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. "You're welcome, Mr. Jenkins. Remember, the most important part of gardening isn't the flowers or the plants. It's the growth, both in the garden and in the gardener." As he left, promising to take care of our joint project, I remained outside, the sun now fully risen, bathing the world in its golden light. The events of the past few days had woven a new tapestry in the fabric of our neighborhood, one colored with understanding, laughter, and the beginnings of friendship. The day ahead was full of possibilities, and as I went about my tasks, I felt a profound gratitude for the simple joys of life, for the unexpected turns that lead us down new paths, and for the beauty of a new day dawning, full of hope and promise.